What's up, y'all? It's Chief Silent, 4 point dancer. Well, back with another lesson. Peace to the ladies, peace to the fellas, peace to Queen of Heaven and Earth, and all your research to the planet and to the cosmos. um, I hope say also to myself, but tonight I'm gonna speak a little bit on experience. Um, when it comes to spiritual development, experience is the only way where you can achieve development, right? Because a lot of people, when they go through their spiritual process, they only tend to be one way because that one way is the only way they can really see as spiritual, right? Rather than realizing that everything you do as a whole is a spiritual practice, right? So you have some people that are okay. I'm a meditate every day, right? I'm gonna be vegan. I'm gonna do that because that's considered to be spiritual, right? I'm not eating animal no more, right? So I'm gonna just be on my vegan shit and I'm gonna be meditating, and that's gonna help me, raise my highest consciousness, right? And you can use that as a method as raising your consciousness to a higher form, but that's not the only way you're gonna be able to ascend, because there's other ways you have to ascend, right? Because it don't matter uh what you eating, what you putting in your body. Your consciousness is your consciousness, right? You are responsible for how you vibrate. If you choose to vibrate at a lower frequency, you will be at a lower frequency. If you choose to vibrate at a higher frequency, you're going to be at a higher frequency. And this all goes to how you think for yourself and how you think for others. All that is a vibrational frequency. So if you continuously thinking bad of yourself or continuously thinking bad of others or thinking bad shit, then that's your frequency. You just a low vibrational being for that time being, but you can get out of that state, right? Get out of that mental clutter that you have and rise above, right? But it's all based upon you and what you know, doing with yourself spiritually, right? So, a lot of people have complications with that, right? Because they only tend to go for one thing that they think is spiritual, but everything you do in this world is a spiritual practice. Everything you do, sex, like I said, you can say food as well, exercising, shit, you can say fighting, martial arts. All that shit is a spiritual practice. All that shit is here for you to learn and develop off of it. Because a lot of us, especially the chiefs, a lot of chiefs is different. A lot of chiefs represent something different from the other. Right? So you got some chiefs that's more aggressive. You got other chiefs that's more soft spoken. Right? Then you got some chiefs that are healers. Right? So they have the power and the gift to heal the family, and choose to isolate themselves from anything that can take them away from what they trying to do with being a healer in their family. Right? So you have all different types of chiefs in their life, in the way the uh I ain't gonna say the universe, but the way the queen of heaven and earth is gonna make it, she gonna make it to where you gonna have to get tested on the certain things that you here to do. Right? So like I said, you being a healer, it's gonna come to a point in time to where you gonna be in a very traumatic and narcissistic family. Your traumatic and narcissistic family is gonna be that way for a reason to basically help you develop into a healer, right? Because you don't come here already as a healer, you have to develop into that. And once you develop into that, that raises your ranking as chief, right? But for the time being, your family traumatic, they narcissistic, is it's a fucked up environment, but they here, right, to help you develop uh into that healer. That's what they're here to do. And they're also a test for you, right? Because with every great being that means something and they have a mission or have something that they are called to do, they always have to be tested. Because if you ain't tested, how are you going to grow? You have to be tested. I don't care what you is. I don't care what you into. Everybody has to be tested. Right? We ain't no gang bangers, but even for a gang banger, you gotta be tested so your homies can know that you know with their shit. Because if you ain't tested, then them niggas gonna look at you sideways like you on some police shit because you ain't really been tested. You have to be in a situation where it's damn near a life or death situation. You have to be in them trenches. You got to be in that field. You have to know what shit feel like. You have to be in a fucked up feeling. You have to be in a fucked up environment so you can be able to learn and develop from that. That may sound crazy to some people, but that's just the way it is. You have to be tested. I've been tested my whole fucking life and I don't run away from it. I like being tested. I like being put in fucked up situations. I like that shit because it make me better, and I always know how to get through it. And I do the shit so motherfucking organically. You down there forget I was even, you was in the situation, but that's just how it is. You gotta be tested. You have to go through something, right? Because you can't have a testimony if you ain't ever been tested. You have to be tested, right, to see who you are as a person and see what value and what morals you carry, right? So this is when you experiencing certain things. That's your test. Your test is your experience. Okay, so what is a experience for you as a test? Okay, uh, you working out, right? you know, you may never have been a type of athletic person your whole life, but now you have embarked on this new type of lifestyle, right? To where you becoming more athletic, you becoming more flexible with yourself, right? You taking on new experiences, right? Those experiences, right? Like I said, they experiences, but they also morally test, right? Because you can embark on something, right? But then after you embark on something new and then you get good at it, you might stop doing it, right? Because you didn't got good at it. So the test in that is to see if you're gonna get good at something and then continue, to do it. Not just okay, I got good at it and I'ma stop. No, is you gonna continue to do it. If you continue to do it, then that means you pass the test. But if you get good at something and then you just stop and all right, I'm done, then you failed the test. You have to continue. You have to be consistent. All right, because by you being consistent with something, it's showing your dedication and your hard work, to what you into, you know. And it also shows character and who you are as a person. So if I say I'm for the people, I'm for the community, right? And I'm out here, doing shit for the community, I can't just, okay, I'm gonna do it this month and then I'm gonna stop it. I ain't gonna do it next month. Nah, cause motherfuckers gonna be hungry. That was the last month, nigga. This a whole new month. Motherfuckers hungry again. Motherfuckers starving. Motherfuckers stomach hurting. Motherfuckers stomach growling. You can't miss a month, nigga, and then your people ain't even in tune to be able to, go without having nothing. So, you gotta be out here feeding these, people every single day. You can't miss a day. You can't miss a month. You can't miss a week. You can't do that. You have to be consistent. That's how it works. You So that's why we talk about experience and how experience uh is your greatest teacher, because it allows you to develop and become a better person, right? So for instance, people talk about sex, right? And a lot of people that consider themselves spiritual or woke, all that shit, they're trying to tell you that, okay, semen retention is the ideal way to go, because if you release your semen, right, you basically lowering yourself in frequency and all that old shit. But what a lot of people fail to realize is that all you are is consciousness. You're not the body. So 90% of the motherfuckers that's talking about semen retention and the benefits and what it's doing for you, they talking on it from a physical perspective and not a conscious perspective, right? So in a sense, it's moments to where you need to invest in sexual energy, because sexual energy is the most powerful life force on the planet. Because sexual energy is basically what? Mitochondria DNA, which comes from the Eve gene, which is the mother gene, right? That's the most powerful energy on the planet, is sexual energy. That semen, when you about to release semen and you start feeling that sense of euphoria, that's mitochondria DNA in you. That's mitochondria, the most powerful life force. Right? So these motherfuckers telling you once you release it, oh, you just it's over with. You just the worst person in the world. You lowering your vibration. No, you ain't necessarily lowering your vibration. You just releasing one form of matter. But at the end of the day, that matter will reproduce again. And then it all goes as opposed to you consciously. Can you release it and then let it be it? Or do you release it and then you got to release it again because it felt too good? See, it's all based upon your consciousness and how you are choosing to be in that certain type of moment. You know, it's just all based upon you and your mind. It don't necessarily got shit to do with you or your vibration low. It's just who you is as a man, as a person. That's what it is, right? But you can use your sexual energy, right, while in a sexual moment for alchemical, purposes or for magic purposes to manifest, you know. You can use it for a lot of different ways, you know. So a lot of people, they talk, down on sex and all that old type of shit, but they don't really know what the fuck they talk about because they don't really know how it works and what you could do with it, you know. Um, so talk about experience, um, and what experience does. Um, like I said, it builds character. It allows you to become a better person than you once was before by experience. Once you are a representative of the ethers, of the cosmos, or of the queen of heaven and earth, once you are a representative of her, nothing is going to happen to you just by, okay, it's just happening to you. Everything's going to have a meaning to it. Everything. Everything's going to have a meaning and it's going to have a purpose to it. So, whatever situation you pity in, right, it may come to you as it being bad and, should just, getting bad on you, but it's a learning process in that. You have to learn while being in that situation. It's all for experience. Because then, once you uh once you are put in a situation to where something is tough for you, but you get through that situation and you learn how to remain strong in that situation. When that situation could come around again, you already know how to handle it because you've been through that before, right? But that comes from you being in that situation, being in that tough time, and knowing how to get through it. That's just how it's gonna be. That's how it's been happening for me. Everything that I used to do, it's all coming back to me, and now I understand why I was doing it. I wasn't just doing it just to do it because it was for pleasure. I was doing it because it had a spiritual meaning to it. It had a meaning to it, right? But I had the experience being in the moment to where I didn't know what I was doing in order to realize why I was doing it later on. That's all it was, right? And this is why you have to understand experience and understand why experience is the most important thing for you because it's going to allow you to develop into a better person. That's it. We got we got some people that's a part of the tribe that probably still, probably watch pornography and all that old shit. I mean, it ain't necessarily the worst thing in the world, but you never know why they doing it. It's probably an experience they gotta have through watching that. It's probably a learning process in that to why they doing it. You just never know. Everybody got their own way of how they ascend. Everybody. That's from over here, right? So you have to understand, everybody got their own way. Everybody. Right? For me, I'm a earth element. I'm a Virgo, right? The Virgo comes from the Virgin Mary, right? Virgin Mary is the one who birthed Jesus, right? But we know Jesus is Isis, right? But if you understand in the Virgin Mary is coming from the Masonic Lodge, which is her birthing the great sun, which will be a chief off the Blue Lodge, off the right hand, balancing off the left, right? Because the Virgo sign is what? The Virgo sign is basically the right? Which is the top representing the woman's uterus, but the woman's uterus is a representation of the family crest, right? The crest is representing the whole family together, right? But if the crest detaches away from the whole womb as a whole, it becomes a cane, right? Then the cane can represent an energetic flip, right? So if it's flipped to the right, then that means it's going off the mother line off the right hand, and if it's flipped to the left, that means it's going off the father line off the left hand. That's why the Queen of Heaven and Earth gave us the cane. They gave the men the canes so we could be the ones to flip the energy from the right hand and onto the left hand because she already know the energy and how the energy need to be flipped, right? So she give us the cane to where we can, understand what we got to do as well from what we doing. So the blue lodge is gonna flip back to the red lodge, right? Then the red lodge can be flipped to the green lodge. This is how this should work, you know. Right then you have the bottom of the Virgo sign, which represents Earth, right? So I'm a representation of the Queen of Heaven and Earth. I'm the Earth man standing on the 4 point square. The 4 point square is coming from the red lodge off the right hand, off the five, right? So, um, as for me, it took me to go through experiences, in order for me to learn who I was, right? Because I'm still learning more of who I am, but I didn't figure out the most I needed to figure out of who I am and what I represent to the planet, right? Because I also came from the father line, which is the Blue Lodge, right? So my information is strictly presented, right, to teach the youngins, right, on how we should develop and how we should be to our fellow people, right? But I didn't know this when I first started this shit, right? Because I told you I'm an earth element, so I was grounding with earth and doing all that, that spiritual shit. What they talk about being outside and shit in the sun, uh, grounding with the trees and in the grass and all that old shit. I was doing all that old shit. I didn't know why, right? But realizing now that I'm an earth element and realizing that in order for me to ascend, I have to be able to connect myself with earth in order to understand who I am as a whole. Now I realize, oh, okay, I know I was doing that shit. It didn't make sense then, but now it makes sense now. It was all experience. I had to experience the spiritual evolution as a whole from all different sections. I had to experience being in the sun, grounded with earth. I had to experience the waters. I had to experience the airs. I had to experience the fires. I had to experience all that to understand what I am and what I represent and how I'm connected to all that shit. That's what I had to do, you know. But it took experience, right? I had to be in a situation to where I was uncomfortable, to where shit didn't make sense to me, to where I felt like, you know, shit just ain't right down here. Cause I always knew shit wasn't right down here, but I was too young to express why shit wasn't right. You feel me? So I always knew shit wasn't right, but I just didn't have the explanation to tell motherfuckers why shit wasn't right. Right? So I was in those uncomfortable positions. I was in those positions to where I felt like nothing I did will make a name, you know, in this world we in. But now I'm at the point to where shit, it ain't even making a name off something now, nigga. It's just shit. You doing what you doing, healing yourself, making sure you straight. Cause shit, I don't give a fuck about this world to keep it 100 with you, and I don't really give a fuck about the people in it. You know, to keep it 100 with you. You know, I don't give a fuck. You know, but then I was young. I didn't know that. You know, I was on some. You know, on some trying to be. You know, on some successful shit because I thought that was, you know, the way I was going to sin and that was the way I needed to go and all that, but all that was bullshit though. You know, so to now I'm at the stage to where now everything is just aligned and everything is making sense to what I'm doing now. You know, I'm supposed to be teaching and developing myself and shit as an alchemist and understanding the ins and outs of this shit. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, everything makes sense now. But it had to take me experience, like I said, for me to realize this shit. Right? Because everybody say your life is right in front of you. Right? But a lot of people can't really understand that. How's my life in front of me, right, when everything that's going on in my life is backwards? How's everything in front of me? I keep going backwards, but you motherfuckers telling me everything is in front of me. I can't see that. Well, most of that is coming from you taking the wrong steps, right? If you always walk backwards, you gonna always be backwards. If you walk straight forward, you gonna be straight forward. Right? So in society, we always taught to walk backwards because walking backwards, right, is the normal way of going. But a lot of us don't want to walk straight forward, right? Because if we walk straight forward, it's gonna be a totally different type of layout as opposed to us walking backwards. It may not bring the satisfaction that walking backwards brought you. It may not bring the money. It may not bring you know, the nice cars and females and it may not bring that same shit. It may be some shit to where you have to ascend over that. Work on your ego. Work on why you are the way you are. Get rid of your selfish ways. A lot of motherfuckers don't want to take that. A lot of motherfuckers don't want to walk straight forward. A lot of motherfuckers just want to backpedal. Right? And this is why a lot of people in reality in society they can't ascend because they keep walking backwards. If you know something is bad for you and they don't bring nothing good into your life, then why the fuck you keep doing it? You lost in them steps. You don't know how to step the right way. You just lost in this shit. Your greatest teacher is yourself, right? Because I had made a statement talking about the Nation of Islam, right? Islam is an acronym for I, self, law, and master. Allah, leg, arm, head. Just like Muslim is basically Islam in reverse, in a sense. You have to understand that who we are as a tribe and how we operate, we always gonna honor self, but we also are gonna honor our creator, because the creator is the reason why we able to honor ourselves. So you look at a Muslim, you think that they are someone that believes in Allah, right, which is a god outside of them, but really Allah is them, right? A lot of people wouldn't be able to understand that because a lot of people ain't from over here and they don't know how to read shit. That 5 point star representing spirit. The 5 point star is a representation of the house of the mother, which is the queen of heaven and earth, which is Isis. All right. That's where we was all at, in the castle. I talked about it before. Then you had other castles where that was where your cousins was at. You would go visit your cousins the same way we do now. So the 5 point star is representing us as a whole, also coming off the red lodge, off the right hand, representing the one drop of blood from the Queen of Heaven and Earth. So we all tied with each other as one family, right? So that's why they going under the 5 point star. But all that's relating still to self. It ain't got nothing to do with a God outside of you. It's the recognition of the God within you. That's what it is. Right? So if you understand that, you be like, damn, we basically all Muslims then. And if you think about it, right. If you someone that want to learn who you are and master yourself, you basically a Muslim. You are self law and master. That's what you are. That's why some of the people in our tribe they end up becoming Muslims. And all that is a part of them remembering who they is. Most people that are Muslims remember who they are by becoming a Muslim. But a lot of people wouldn't believe that, but a lot of people have. It's a level of understanding you have to have and knowing shit to understand why that's possible. That's why I ain't got nothing wrong with Muslims because I understand that that's our shit. The same as a Mason. Everybody think being a Mason is Luciferian and all that shit, but they don't know what the fuck they talking about. All that science that the Masons is learning and teaching each other, all that shit come from us. Esoteric, Kabbalah, Gnostics, all that Hermeticism, all that's our shit. Cause all they doing is breaking down what we is. Okay, so they showing you a queen and they showing you a king, right? So they gonna show you the power of what the queen has, and then they gonna show you the power of what the king has. Well, if it's purple, that's representing the queen and the king as a whole, right? They showing you what you is, right, through these symbols and these pictures, but you know, motherfuckers don't know who they is, and they think they know something, but they don't really know nothing at all. Because if you knew, you would know this is your shit. You will want to stay closer to that shit because you know it's the truth. Not everything that's bad for you is bad. Not everything that they say is good for you is good. In order for you to learn and develop, you're going to have to study what's considered bad. So they saying that Lucifer, the devil, is the worst person in the world. Well, you need to study the devil. Study Lucifer. Why is he red? Why he got the horn sticking out? Why he has a rake in his hand? Right? Because the rake represents water and fire. That's what the rake represents. The water is the bottom of the Star of David, right? And then fire is representing the flame of knowledge, right? Rising to the top of the head, which will be the crown chakra energy, right? So that's representing the mother line, right? And it's also representing the father line as well, you know. Right, but a lot of people wouldn't even know that because they don't study that shit. Or they don't want to study that shit because they think it's bad. That's why you ain't in tune with nothing. That's why spiritually you haven't developed because you're not willing to go, to all forms to find out, what shit mean. This is what you had to do. This is what I had to do to find out what shit is. Once you learn the definition of what shit mean, can't nobody lie to you no more. But if you don't know nothing and you don't study, then somebody can tell you anything. Because most of these motherfuckers out here that still claiming Jesus, right? They have no understanding of what Jesus really is. They don't even understand that when you saying Jesus, you still saying ISIS. But they put the J there, right? To basically knock off the real meaning of what you're saying, right? Because you're saying Jesus, Jesus, ISIS, ISIS. You still saying her name, but they just put the J there to confuse you into where you don't know what the fuck you saying. But you honoring the Queen of Heaven and Earth, but your ass think you honoring a man. No, nigga, you're honoring the woman. They just changed the words around to where you don't know what you're saying. You know. But that's just how, a lot of people is. A lot of people just can't, get that shit. Some never will. You know. That's just how it is though. Best thing for you to do is experience all that you can experience. Rather if it's bad or good, experience all that you need to experience. I ain't saying you need to go out in the world and do all type of shit. I ain't saying that because I don't really do it. I'm just saying just use every moment, every second, everything you do, use it as a experience. Use it as a okay, I'm doing this for a reason because I'm experiencing something. Okay, I'm looking into this. Or okay, I'm looking into that. This is all experience. This is all helping me realize more of who I am and where I come from and what I represent or my power. That's what it is. That's what you have to do. Because you will never know who your enemy is if you don't study him. Right? That's why a lot of motherfuckers don't really know who we against and who we in war with because they don't study their enemy. Right now, you got all these people going around saying that black people or people that look like us is the cause for our destruction. And you get some motherfuckers be like, nah, I don't believe that shit. Y'all niggas just making that shit up. Well, this when you got to go back and look at the people that was so called a part of your community. I told motherfuckers to go back and watch Roots. Roots told you what happened to us, but we just was too blind to see it, right? How they had came to West Africa and got off them ships, right? Now, what we never noticed in that whole movie is that it was niggas that had came on the ships with the white people into Africa to enslave the Africans. That's what niggas didn't even catch. Because you remember when they had finally arrived there, it was niggas that was helping these ships come onto the island. It was niggas. But we didn't even catch it because we focused on it's a white motherfucker. We didn't even fucking catch it. Right? Cause then when they had caught Toby, when they caught his ass in the jungle, who the fuck did the white man send to catch his ass? They sent niggas. And them niggas was more happy to catch his ass more than the white man. So they showing you that the one that was doing the dirt was the one that had your same complexion, right? But they use a pale face, right, to disguise who was doing what they was doing to you. That's how they work. They have to use a pale face to disguise their dirty work. When the whole time the enemy right in front of you, but you just don't see him. And that be the fucking problem with our people. Everybody want to be woke. Everybody want to give out all this information like they conscious and all that goofy ass shit, but motherfuckers still don't know the enemy. If you don't know the enemy, why the fuck you putting all this information out like you woke or something? You don't even know the enemy. You still out here thinking it's white versus black, nigga. And it was never about that, nigga. It was always a black can in this shit. But we just never called it. Now we starting to catch on that it's a black hand involved in this shit. Now we like, oh damn, that shit fucked up. But you still got other motherfuckers that don't want to hear that shit. They still want to think it's black versus white. Because they don't want to accept the fact that not all our people is all our people. They don't want to accept that fact. You know? But that's just on them. If you putting the receipts out and putting the information out and telling these motherfuckers what's going on and they still don't want to accept it, well, that's just on them. That's just something they gonna have to deal with for themselves. That's it. Right? Cause think of the name. It's called Roots. Alex Haley knew what he was doing. That nigga wasn't stupid. He called it Roots. So he telling you to learn your roots. Told or Kunta was the only motherfucker that remembered who he was and wasn't going to erase who he was. But all the other niggas around him tried to convince him that he was from where they took him to. He like, nah, fuck that. But you see, it was niggas though. It wasn't white men telling them, oh, you're a slave and you're American now. Ooh. It wasn't white motherfuckers doing that. It was morally niggas that was doing that. You remember Fiddler, his old goofy ass, he was the main one on that shit. Niggas sitting playing the violin and shit, all that old shit, and you see your people getting their ass whooped. You feel me? You see how he died? The nigga died like a goofy. He wasn't about shit, but those was the ones that was, that was trying to convince Kunta that was the life he should have accepted, but he was like, man, fuck that. Y'all niggas on some bullshit. Y'all weak as hell. But Kunta grew to like them because they looked like him. He had no choice. And that's the same way it is for us. We think everybody is us, so we grow to like them. Think they us, but they ain't us. They don't have our same mindset. They don't want what we want. They don't have aspirations of our people having true freedom and justice. They don't have that in them, and they never will. When we trying to do something good for ourselves, them motherfuckers have a problem with it. They want to eat our skin and shit, drink our blood and shit. That's the shit they like doing to us. When we get killed and all that. That's how they think about us. They don't think the way that we think. But we don't know that because they look like us. And we're not in tune enough with ourselves to be able to read where these motherfuckers is and where they coming from. So then we just left like, what the fuck is going on? But this is what it is though. Like I said, experience is, important. Learn who you is, learn what everything means, and put the pieces together to where you can, understand what's going on, you know. And that's just how it is though. But with that being said, this Chief South 4 Point Dancer with Earth. Like I said, peace once again. And yeah, I'm out.